All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we are going to be getting back to the basics. We're done with the starter deck series. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun doing that. And if you missed the starter deck series, it was a 6-part series that I made on ST 15 through 20. The new starter decks coming out in the middle of OP08. I will link the playlist for that down in the comment section below for you to check out at your own leisure and get caught back up on. But hey, guys, we're done with that now. Moving forward, we're going back to the basics here. We're going to have a VV lab. We're going to have a art critique. We're going to have all kinds of fun in today's video, guys. Excuse me. And so real quick, what is going on? What is this picture in the front? Why is Tashigi in the middle of your screen? That will, of course, be the art critique for today's video. That'll be at the very end. But let me give you a quick rundown on how this video is going to go. It's going to be a pretty chill video. Nothing too crazy in today's video. It's going to be a little more on the chill side, but and a little all over the place. But we'll have some direction. Don't worry. First up, we're going to be checking out the lab. We got a game of Lucci versus Gecko Perona. That should be a lot of fun. That's going to be the lab. A community submitted video I'll explain more about in a minute. From there, we're going to hop over to 3 games on the sim of me playing 3 different decks, 3 random fun decks. We got Reiju in no particular order. I can't remember the order, but it's going to be Reiju, green-black Perona, and red-yellow Sabo. Okay? Then we will hop over and check out the deck list that I'm running for each of those. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my final thoughts on that. And then we'll wrap up the video with an art critique, guys. All right, you know what you're getting into. Let's dive into this. I'll have everything timestamped in the general description, and I'll have any relevant links or any deck lists in the comment section of the video for you to check out for yourself. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, guys. We have got. Let me remove this this Tashigi picture. There we go. We have got a portion of the video here. This is how I start off most of my videos now, if not all of them, with what I call the lab. This is the VV lab. Basically, notice what it says at the bottom right of the screen. Do you want me to review your gameplay? Well, then hop on Discord. These are community submitted videos, okay? If you're someone in the community and you want me to review your gameplay, and look, notice how it is. You can't see the person's name. You have no idea who's playing who, right? I cover all that up, of course, for privacy reasons, so you don't have to be embarrassed or something like that, right? Here's the thing. All you have to do is record your game with something like OBS, which is a free recording program. Upload your video to YouTube, which is all this is free. Everything I'm saying is free, right? Upload your video to YouTube and then share the link with me on Discord. I have a channel called Review My Game in the Discord. So you can upload your video on YouTube, like I said, make it private so no one can even see it if you don't want anyone to see it, and then send me the link on Discord, and then I put a little thumbs up by it whenever I see it, and I add it to the list. Okay, guys? All right, so here we go. First things first, we got a game of Lucci versus Gecko Perona. Let me make sure we're on 2x speed. Volume's off, and let's get into it. Okay, so I hit play, guys. All right, now we're going to start going here. Now, this is 1.24a for the sim. That's the version they're running. So I think this is no stage. I think no stage is allowed in this version here. I could be wrong about that. I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll see very soon here. Now, the Gecko Perona gets a very, very strong start, which is trashing a card. I didn't see what card they trashed from their hand, but they're going to cheat out a Perona, which is going to force us to trash a card from our hand, and then they're swinging in for 6. So we're either losing a card from our hand and 1 life, or we're losing 2 cards from our hand. This is an ideal start for a Gecko Perona. It's a very powerful start, and they have a 5k body now. Going to play out the Khalifa, -2 to the Perona, and then going to swing for 5 to give -1 more, but we can't do anything. We don't have any more Dawn for the turn. All right, but we got 2 Shigan Finger Pistols in our hand here, so that's very good. That's very strong removal. That is a 4-cost card that can pop, I believe it's a 5 or less. So that is a very strong card for what we're trying to do here, and especially once we get rid of, once the stage is gone, that might be a very legitimate card to start running if we don't have any better form of like consistent removal. Shigan Finger Pistol, first of all, it comes out of life. It can be used against Green Bonnie to KO some of their bigger characters like Basil Hawkins, because we can swing first and then pop it. It's just a very solid, very solid event. Okay, they trashed an Ice Age from their hand. They're going to play out the Absalom. They're going to pop the Spandam, and it looks like we're going to take that, and we're going to go down to 3. We don't have any counter in hand. We're actually really lacking in counter in hand right now. So 5 in a face, not going for the Perona. That is very interesting. I guess they don't want to trash any more cards from hand, which I do understand that. But at the same time, you know, it is nice to get some characters off the board. So that's what's the most interesting thing to me, is not swinging for the Perona when we did want to get rid of the Absalom. Because typically it would be the other way around, because Gecko wants to keep reusing Absalom to KO characters on the board. They typically don't care as much about Perona. I mean, it's not that they don't care about it, but Absalom has a way to remove characters on the board and establish, you know, a tempo shift. Okay, so let's see what we do here. It is our opponent's turn now. Let's see what they choose to do. Okay, and we're on 2x speed, guys. We're just waiting for them to make their move here. They're going to swing for 6. They noticed we weren't doing well with 2K counters because they've been swinging 6 a lot this game, and look at that. That's a pretty good tell. If I'm the Gecko Moria player, it's like, wait, why didn't you counter out of that? Because I could swing for 7 now with my Gecko Moria, and you're probably not going to be able to counter out of that either. And they're going to do that. Well, so no, I have not seen these games, guys. I have no idea who wins this, but after, like I said, if you do not block that early 6K attack when all the Dawn has not been used yet, that is a very, very quick tell to your opponent that, hey, you do not have... okay, to get out of a 7K attack, we just trashed 3 Rebeccas. This is not looking good. So this is really not looking good for our Lucci player. Okay, and we do have the stage, so never mind what I said earlier. We do have access to the stage. But a little too late for that. Okay, now we're going for the Perona, and they let us have it, so that's a good thing. That's a good sign. We do not have a Spandine in the trash, unfortunately, or do we? I'm sorry, maybe we do. Oh, we do. Excuse me, we did have a Spandine in the trash. That's really good. Okay, so now we're going to be able to pop the Helmeppo and the Absalom with that Lucci, and we have a full board. That's what Gecko Moria does, guys. That's what Gecko does. Is this about to be a crazy comeback? Because, man, that did not look good on the board for a minute there. Okay, let's see what happens here. The very first thing they should do is swing 2 into Spandine, to be honest. All right, let's see. So they're going to reveal an Ice. They draw an Ice Age from the brand new search, just so you guys know. I know you cannot read it because I have it blocked, but they got an Ice Age from the brand new. Swinging 2 into 2. I agree with that completely, even though they can use that again now if they need to with the second Gecko Moria. It's still something you have to do, you know what I mean? Because they could replace it anyway otherwise with the Gecko Moria. Okay, let's see what they choose. They have 8 Dawn. They only have 7 Dawn left, so they can't play a Gecko Moria here. They might have a Jack. I don't know what all's legal in this version of the sim. Ice Age on Lucci, and now it looks like we're going to trash a card and pull back an Absalom to pop the Lucci. Wow, not a great turn. Like, really not a very good play, or not I don't want to say a good play. Not a very good turn for our opponent. And I think they should have actually trashed the Rebecca and tried to go for life, especially since they know we don't have any counter. Because I think that was their only chance. Just let the Gecko, or excuse me, let the Lucci player have the Lucci, the 4-cost Lucci there. Okay, so right here, let's go ahead and swing in. Yep, use card action, -1 to the Absalom. So right here, swing 3 into 2. I like that. We like that. We'll take it. 9's going through for sure. And now we're going to play out the stage. -2 more to the Absalom. And now we can pop this with a Gecko, with another Spandine, Helmeppo. Excuse me. Actually, Spandine. We don't even have to use Helmeppo because we have the targets where we need them. Now we grab back the Spandine. Replace the Helmeppo. I like that a lot because then we could use that again if we get a future Gecko. And it looks like this game's actually completely shifted into the Lucci players, you know, corner. Like, I think the Lucci players is highly favored to win this game now. That's crazy, guys. That is the power of one Gecko Moria. We're gonna go back to that in just a second. I know what people are thinking too. Okay, and the player on the top still does not have a Gecko Moria. That is wild. Not one Gecko Moria is crazy. Okay, let's see if they do. Swing in for 8. Probably at the Lucci. Yep. Just use the blocker here and just swing for lethal next turn. Yeah, so 9K, 9K, 15K is going to be a good game right here. There's no way. Oh, excuse me. They do have a blocker, so go 9K, 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 whatever's left on your leader. So not 6, though. So 6 is not the play there for sure. I would say 7. Because if they choose to block and 2K counter out, that's just basically throwing the game, right? But if they use their blocker there, that's fine. Then we swing in for our 9s. So I would have swung for 7, but I think you're still easily going to be able to close this game out right here. But you're going to have to use the Spandam to do it. Wait, what if they had... So that was the weird part about that, is what if they had another 2K counter there? If they had another 2K counter, then that whole thing gets stopped. You know what I mean? But hey, we took the chance, we got there. We're in a good position to win this. Okay. Swinging in for 6. They counter out. All right, looks like they're going to get one more turn here. They're going to block out, play out the Sabo. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that as well. We're going to talk about that turn as well, but I think you're definitely going to win at this point. All right, let's see what happens. Just waiting on our opponent here. Yeah, they're gonna forfeit. Okay, so real quick at the end before I forget this, on this turn right here, you have calculated lethal, right? You have calculated lethal. So let's just say, so your opponent has 2 cards in hand. We don't know what they are. Let's just assume they're both 2K counters, okay? Let's just assume they're both 2K counters. If we put 1 on our Lucci and swing 7, he has to do, there's 3 things he can do. Give us both of the cards from his hand, give us his blocker, or give us a life. There is no other option, right? Then, from there, let's just say, if he could counter out, he probably would. And then he has a blocker and the 2 life left. Or maybe he takes it. Maybe he takes it. Okay, no matter what. After that, we swing 9. And then we swing 9. And we've only had to invest 1 Dawn to do a 7-9-9, which each one is... Okay, a 7K attack is going to force 2 cards from hand. A 9K attack is going to force 3 cards from hand minimum. That's assuming he has like all 2K counters. So that's the one thing I would have changed. It's gone 7-9-9, and that is only, remember, that is only a 1 Dawn investment. And then from there, we can make a decision based on what he does, you know, from that point. That's one thing I want to mention there, because like I said, do we know what was in his hand? Let me see something real quick. He had a 2K counter, and then he had, hang on, he's gonna counter out in just a second. Swing for 6. And he had a 1K. So we know he had a 1K and a 2K. So if you had swung for 7 with the Lucci, he has to give us that immediately. Then we swing for 9, it takes a life. We swing for 9, it takes another life. And then from there, we can swing for 7 with our leader and then make a decision based on that, put down the blocker, and go from things that way. That's how I would have done it at least. But hey, it clearly works the way you did it. You know what I mean? Then one more thing I want to talk about is how strong Gecko Moria is. So check out this play, guys. Right here, I'm thinking, dude, we're in trouble. But let's not forget how strong Gecko Moria is. Look at the board state, guys. They have 4 characters on their board, 4 life, 2 cards in hand. You know, that's actually in our favor, right? But watch this. Swing 5 and give -1 to Absalom. They let the Perona go, which was a mistake. Let me be very clear. Letting the Perona go there was absolutely a mistake if they had counter. I don't know what's in my opponent's hand at this point. Obviously, we can't see it. However, letting Perona go was a 1,000,000% mistake. They should have kept that. That was their only chance of winning this game. So watch this. They went from 4 cards on their board. They're going to go down to 1 card on their board, and we're going up to 5 cards on our board. 1 is a blocker, 1 KO'd 2 characters, and is a 6K. The other's a 9K. Swing 5. That's crazy, guys. That's a really strong card, Gecko Moria, right? That's a really strong card. Really good game there. That was a very educational one. I really appreciate you submitting this. I'm a huge fan of these VV labs, and I know a lot of people like them too, the lab portion of the video. All right, give me 1 second to get set up, guys. This will just take a second. Now we're going to hop over to some games on the sim. I'm not even going to move my face for this part because it should be roughly where it needs to be. Okay, let me check one more thing. I am sorry, guys. Give me just a minute. There we go. Okay, now I can bring up the sim. I'm a little rusty, right? It's been a while. Okay, there we go. So now we're moving over to the sim. We've got 3 games lined up. It's going to be Red Yellow Sabo, and then Reiju, and then we're going to end off with a Green Black Perona game. Okay, so let's hop into this, guys. I've been in the lab. Okay, I've been cooking up some new stuff here. Let me hit play. The speed should be on 2x. This is a Revo Army version of Red Yellow Sabo. I've been messing around with the version, the Goa Kingdom. You know, let me pause for a second. Guys, at this point, I've messed with Rebel Army, Big Mom Pirates, Straw Hat Crew, Whitebeard Pirates, random good cards, random trigger cards, you name it, and I've tried it when it comes to Red Yellow Sabo. And I think after all that's said and done, the 2 best versions I've come across so far are Big Mom Pirates and the Goa Kingdom combo package, straight out of ST13, where you've got the 2 cost versions that pop out the 5 cost versions from life. That'll be in a future video. But the third one I want to mention is this one, is the Revo Army version. There have been new cards spoiled, and we're not going to go over those in today's video, but there have been new cards. That'll be tomorrow's video, you know, wink, wink. Tomorrow's entire video will be on Red Yellow Sabo. It will be an update, and we will go over some of the new cards coming out. Red Yellow Sabo has a very promising looking future with the Revo Army package. Okay, so, all right, now let's hop back into this game. So right here, I play out Bello Betty, very strong here. And hey, one of my favorite things, hopefully this thing moves, there it goes. One of my favorite things about playing the Big Mom Pirates version, the Straw Hat version, and the Revo Army version is doing a 1-3-5 curve. And they all can do that pretty decently. So swing 5 here, I'm playing out the Ivankov, I'm just cheating bodies out left and right. That's a video for another day as well, guys. If you're not removing characters every turn or flooding the board every turn, you're doing something wrong at this point. And it's something I've noticed playing the game more and more and more. We'll talk about that more in a future date. But it's almost like, I don't want to pause it again, but it's almost like that's becoming the way to go. So I'm swinging 2 into 0. Excuse me. And again, like I said, I will cover that more in a future video. Right here, I'm going to swing for 5. I'm poking them. Let's see what they have. Give me some counters out of your, give me some cards from your hand. Okay, and they do. And then, boom, dropping a 7, Lynn. Did y'all notice the curve I did? Pause. I went turn 1 Betty, turn 2 Morley, turn 3 Ivankov, turn 4 Linlin. That is a brutal, disgusting curve. Okay, just absolute insane amounts of value. They did not want to give me life, by the way. They took a life from that 7-cost Linlin. Maybe ill-advised, right? That might not be the best route at this stage of the game. So they do play out Helmeppo, -3 to my Linlin, tap it down, pop it with Ryuma, take out my Bello Betty, who cares? And right here, I'm ready to just start kind of finishing the game out. I'm going to swing for 7s on 7s on 7s for the rest of the game. Bounce that card back, +2 there. We're going to cheat out cards. Again, board flood, board flood, board flood. Swing 5. I should have done that first, technically speaking. That was a slight misplay on the sequencing. Swing 6. Your turn. I've got 3 cards on the board, and I have 5 life. Let's see what they do here. Now, the only reason I left Zoro on the board is because I have another one in hand. For those who are wondering, I have another Zoro in my hand, so I'm not worried about it. They attack into my life here. It's like, okay, dude, I don't think you understand what you're doing. Okay, that was nice. They attack in. I get a Lindbergh trigger. I've got another body on the board now. So now what are you going to do? Swing in for 7. If I could have countered out, I would have saved it. But I couldn't. So, hey, it is what it is. Right here. Now it's time to just start going crazy. Swing for 7. Let's see what they give me first. They're either going to give me a blocker or they're going to take it. They don't have another option. Now, right here, we're going to swing for 7 with Banish. That went straight to the trash, guys. Top life that. Swing 7. Okay, and now just everything on Lindbergh. They can't block out with 2 cards. GG. That was fun. Revo Army's nice, guys. Revo Army has a lot of potential, and I'm not saying that I have the best list, but we will look at it after this game. Okay, next game. So that was our first game. That was Red, Yellow, Sabo. Next up, we have a game of Reiju. A lot of people are talking about Reiju right now, guys. Like, this is going to be the new top dog in the format. Who knows? It might be. It might not be. We have to see. We don't know yet, right? We have no idea. But I'll tell you one thing. If you're playing Reiju, you want to go for that card right there. The card I just played, you do a hard mulligan if you don't see the stage. The stage is just that important, guys. It is so important for setting things up. It allows you to get through the deck so quickly. Okay, so my opponent here, this is a blue-yellow Ace, which is another deck I'll probably cover more in the near future. But they're running the Goa Kingdom like full on. Well, excuse me, this is just the standard Ace list because it always kind of ran like this from what I've seen. Okay, so I only have one option there. I could only get the stage. And I think I have a slight play mistake this turn. So play this out. Hang on one second. Play out the... so swing 5 first. Play out the 2 cost to cheat out the Reiju. I go up to 6 cards. None of that was ideal. Typically, you want to pull the card from your trash, but you do what you have to do. And I'm trying to set everything up for success for later. Okay, so now it is my opponent's turn here. They are going to play out the... So they set the top card of their life to those... Hang on. For those who are not aware what Blue Yellow Ace does, he does a top 5 search. You attach 2 Dawn to your leader, and you do a top 5 search from your deck, and you put a 5-cost card on top of your life. But there's a stipulation. Ace says, at the end of your turn, you have to put all face-up life cards at the bottom of your deck. Okay? So that is not good, not great, unless you can interact with that top life card, right? Cards like the 2-cost Luffy, 2-cost Sabo, 2-cost Ace, Flampe. There's a lot of cards that can do that. And in this situation, they used the 2-cost Luffy. They cheated the card, the 5-cost Luffy into play, and they go up to 3,000. They go up to 7,000 power for the turn with their leader. They're going to swing for 7 or 9. Excuse me. I'm just going to take that. It's fine. Now I can't even attack into his leader because he's a 7. So I go ahead and start sorting things out from my trash. And I think I'm going to try to cheat out this. I'm going to play out the Porsche. This new little combo, I don't like to call it a combo, but it's sort of like this combo you can do now with Porsche, where you play out Porsche. You only have like 12 searchable targets. There's 4 Porsche, 4 Chopper, and 4 Gina, a 2K counter. Those are your searchers, or those are what you search for with the Porsche. But then you can play out any character in your hand, any purple character in your hand that is 4,000 power or less. Oh, well, that's perfect. I'll just cheat out Akiji, right? The 4-cost Akiji. And then we will also use the Akiji this turn if we want to. I'm going to choose to do it this turn. I'm going to return it, play this guy out, swing for 7 into face here, see if he gives me a card, and then it's going to be my opponent's turn. One thing I forgot to do this turn is I should have played out the stage with my remaining 1 Dawn. I just forgot. I passed the turn right there. I should have played out one of my stages and trashed another Akiji. So that was a slight play mistake, just being honest with you guys. They swing in for 6 there. I take it. Now they're going to swing in for 7, and I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't you use your leader's effect this turn? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to not use your leader effect here. But hey, he decided not to. We'll take whatever help we can get. But they definitely missed out on an attack there, because that would have gone through. I wouldn't have blocked the 9K attack. I wouldn't have tried to. Okay, but I do only have 2 Dawn left, so we'll have to see what happens here. Swing for 5. We're going to have to give him a counter here. It looks like I'm going to have to give him one of the 4-cost Akijis, which is less than ideal. That is not what we want to do. Okay, so I do a top 3 search with the stage to start off the turn. I'm going to swing 5 into here. I'm just trying to get cards out of my opponent's hand. He'll probably use the blocker. If he uses the blocker, I'll attack into the blocker. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think he wants to do that. We'll go 7 into 7. Let's see what he does. He's got 7 cards in his hand, so yeah, he's going to give me a 1K counter. I'm going to play out the Porsche again. And right here, I think I'm actually going to cheat out the Chopper to get my Dawn back, because I don't necessarily need the Akiji in play right now, and my Dawn count's getting kind of low. So I had to use this turn to kind of set up for the next turn. Okay, they're going, you know, all out here. They're going to swing for 7 with the 7-cost or the 5-cost 7K Rusher Ace. I 2K, 1K counter out of that. I'm probably going to have to use my blocker right here and go about things that way. Or I could save the blocker for next turn, right? Another option there, I chose to block it, but another option is like, okay, I'll just go down to 1 here, because 1 is still relatively safe if you have a good board state. But right here, it's like, whoa, you didn't use your leader effect? Wait a minute. So we're swinging 5. We're swinging 5. We're just going all in here. Let's see what he gets for the trigger. I don't think he got anything. Okay, and right here, I think I'm going to do a top. I'm going to trash the event right here and do a top search. I get a Reiju, which is always nice. I'll swing for 5. Let's see if he wants to finally give me that blocker. I'd love to, you know, smash into that blocker. He gives me a 2K counter, so now I'm going to swing 7 into 7. Looks like he is going to counter out. He countered out with a 2K, by the way. That's very relevant information. And then I'm going to cheat out another Akiji here, which draws me a card for my leader effect. I'm going to swing 7 into 5 into that guy over there. And it looks like he's going to take this, or excuse me, it looks like he's going to block there, and he's not going to be able to save. He didn't have any 2K counters left in hand. That was a big tell for me that he didn't have that. I have a blocker. I have 2 life. I've got a 1K. I've got 2 1Ks and a 2K in hand. I'm feeling pretty safe. But hey, they've got one heck of a pull here. This is going to be a very blitzy pull. You know, a very strong attack. They're going to swing for 7. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Swing for 7 more. Okay, this one I should probably counter out of, and I do. Right now they're gonna, and then they're gonna swing for 5. Let's see what they, you know, let's see how this goes. This is pretty much everything right here, right? This whole entire attack here determines everything, who's gonna win this game or not. I give him a 1K counter, so now there's pretty much no way I can lose. He has no Dawn left. He's gonna swing for 9. I block with my blocker there, and now it's just gonna be some 7s. Yep, just 7s across the board. And that's it, right? There's pretty much no way out of it. Now, I mean, he is a 7K leader. That is relevant, but then he took that, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because now it's good. So pause. What I was going to do there, it was 7, 7, 7, and then it was going to be 11. That was the way that I was going to try to do that. Unless they counted out of both 7s, then I would have gone for 7, 7, 9, 9. That would have been the other route to go. But yeah, worked out just fine. That was a really good game for my opponent. That was a close one. Reiju has a lot of answers, and it is a deck that requires a lot of practice to get good at and to really master. A lot of different lines of play. Okay, volume's off, speed is on 2x. Let's check out this game of Green-Black Perona versus Ace. This is a spicy list, guys. I'm going to show you the list after the game, of course. We got a spicy list here, at least in my opinion. Okay, so right here, it looks like they're going to probably swing 5 and swing 5. Ace can go real fast, guys. Ace goes real fast. So he swings for 5 and 5. I actually just counter out. I'm going to swing for 5 more here, and then I'm going to play out a Rebecca to pull out the Brook and to pop the 1 cost here. I'm trying to put a little bit of aggression on my opponent. Yeah, I need to be a little bit aggro against him, or else I just start falling out of, you know, the game gets out of my control. Okay, so we're going to swing for 7. Again, notice I'm putting some aggression on my opponent. I play out the Kuzan because those Borsalinos have counters on them. And my next turn will be Gecko Moria if I need it. Okay, so here we go. This is my opponent's 7 on turn. They play out the new Ace card. That card is insanely powerful. They swing for 6. They're going to swing for 5. I counter out of what I can. And then I go ahead and take this 6 here. And then he pops my Kuzan with the Seaquake. That was annoying. That was very, very annoying, I have to say. But that's okay. In this situation right here, we're going to have to try to figure out how to do this because I'm a little bit behind now, right? Like I'm actually a little bit behind. And there, how do I say this? Yeah, this isn't Lucci where I have a stage. I don't have the. I know Lucci doesn't have stage either anymore. But like I don't have a way to drop the cost of these characters in any meaningful way. Okay, so I go ahead and play out the Gecko Moria to just cheat out some blockers, get some cards on the board. He starts cleaning up my board, you know, which is probably the right call. I don't know. I don't know if it's the right call or not, but it seemed like a pretty good call. Let me say that. Okay, so let's see what my opponent does here. I'm going to swing 9 into 6. He gives me a blocker. Now, he has 3 life, so he cannot save his characters from KO. Okay? So right here, I go ahead and use the Jack. I'm gonna cycle a card, pop his blocker, and then we're going to go, I think we're going to go 8 into the what's his name? Ace. 8 into 6. Let's see if he has a counter. Yeah, I was going to say he probably has some type of either guard point or some. Did he? That was weird. Hang on a second. He had to. How did he get out of that? Hang on one second. Oh, was he at 4K from me popping with the? No. Hang on. He's at 6K. He did. Oh, he was not at 2 life. Rad Beam only heals or only does a plus 4,000 counter if you're at 2 or less life. Then he drops down the big boy there. He drops down Shanks, and now I'm starting to sweat a little bit. Okay, so now it's like, okay, all right. that was less than ideal. We don't like that. We do not like that. And I don't know why my opponent did not attack into me. I don't know why you don't just attack into me right there. None of those cards have blocker. And if I attack into those cards, you at least survive on the board a little bit. But I guess they know how any deck with Perona, or excuse me, any deck with Gecko Moria works. I'm just going to flood the board with blockers for every Gecko that I have. But bad news, I don't have any more Geckos, right? But my opponent doesn't know that. Okay, so now we're going to swing for 9, which I did. He took that. Now we're going to play out I have 3 blockers on the board, and none of them can be KO'd. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. This is where that new Ben Beckman comes in very handy, right? Trashing cards. Okay, 12 into 9. No, we're going to give you the 0-cost blocker there. Okay. All right, he plays out the Ace. And honestly, I think he should just go face. I think he should just go face here. Because now I can take all these and counter out of just one of them and go for game. I can go for lethal, right? I'm going to take that, and now so he's going to swing for 5. And he's not going to buff his character. Okay, he might not have had any events in hand, which if that's the case, you hate to see it. But now it's like, dude, I'm going to math you out of the game at this point. It's going to be like a 7-9-9, right? That's what's about to happen right now is a 7-9-9, I think. Or actually, I'm just going for 9. It's like, oh, because he has 1 Dawn up. I'm like, show me the Rad Beam, dude. Let's see the Rad Beam. Okay, now we're just going all in. We'll put it right on this guy. We're going to swing for 12 into 5. And then I've got 1 more 5 attack. I think how I should have done that. No, that's fine. 12 and then 5. But I guess, okay, so I guess technically I should have swung for 5 first. But I don't think it matters too much. Okay. And guys, that was it. Today was a shorter video. You know, a little bit shorter video than what I normally put out. Because I will say this, guys. This video is going to be very late compared to my usual videos. Because I just got home like an hour ago. I've been at school all day. I just got home. It is what it is. But yeah, hopefully you guys can bear with me. So now let's go ahead and hop over to the deck list because the entire video is not over yet. But like, you know, I feel like that was a short amount of video for me normally. Hang on one second, guys. Let me move the. Okay, that's funny. I forgot to take off the overlay, so that entire time I had the overlay on, guys. Again, sorry guys, I'm a little rusty. It's been a week since I've done this. Bear with me. All right, but here we go. So this was the Perona deck list. We'll look at that one first, and then we'll go backwards. Notice what I'm running in here. You didn't get to see it. I didn't draw it in that game, but I've got some ideas. It's like, okay, if our leader can tap down characters, and then we can play out Carrot to just keep the character locked down, and then later capitalize on it with cards like Reiju and X-Drake, this is where I'm kind of trending with the list. It's not finished. I don't want to hear anyone say, like, oh, why aren't you... I get that all the time, guys. Let me say something real quick. I get these comments all the time. Hey, why aren't you running this card? Hey, why aren't you running this card? Because this is just a rough draft. Thanks for giving me the ideas. I do appreciate the ideas. But if you're wondering why I might not be running one card or another card, it's because I haven't got there yet, right? I just put these decks out there for y'all to check out and to say, you know, to look at. And then you can give me ideas like, hey, what do you think about this card? Let me just say that. It would be better if people said, hey, what do you think about this card? As opposed to, hey, why aren't you running this card? Like, instead of making it confrontational, it's like, hey, dude, I just threw the deck together to get some ideas on it to see what y'all think, and you can come about it that way. You know, cut me some slack, guys. Cut me a break. But anyway, if you don't, I understand. It's one of those things. Like, I read a lot into what people say. Whenever someone says like a certain thing, I think about it. I overanalyze it. So when someone says like, hey, why aren't you running this card? That comes across as aggressive and almost like snarky. You know what I mean? Where it's like, whoa, hey, chill out, man. You know, and I've had some responses back that people, I think, took that way. Because I answer back with the same level of energy. And they're like, hey, why are you getting a certain way with me? It's like, dude, you're just coming at me in a certain way. But anyway, maybe that was crazy. Sorry for that little mini tangent. Because I never mean to be aggressive. That's where I'm going with all this. I just ask if you guys have a cool idea for a card, please say it in that way. Like, hey, what do you think about this card in the deck? As opposed to, why aren't you running this card? Hey, dude, why aren't you running this card? And I'm sorry if I'm reading tone into text. I know you're not supposed to do that. It's been a long day. Maybe that's where this rant is coming from. I was dealing with a bunch of middle schoolers today. Okay, so to put things into perspective, I usually deal with high schoolers. Dealing with middle schoolers, it's got me on edge. You know, I'm like shaking. It's like, I need a cigarette. You know, I'm just kidding. I don't smoke, but it's been one of those days. So anyway, this is the deck list I'm running with here for Green Black Perona. I really want to spend more time testing it. I have not had enough time, but I think Carrot with Reiju, with X-Drake, I think there could be something very special with that package there. And then, of course, you've got the Gecko Mori to fall back on. You've got the Jack. You've got like a little Sabo Rebecca Borsellino mini package there. You can move the numbers around however you want to. Brook is still a solid card. It's just not as good as it used to be. But slamming down a Brook on turn 2 is almost always a good play because a lot of decks have a turn 1 searcher. You know what I mean? So if you go, okay, my turn, Brook, and just pop your searcher, you know, it's pretty good. And one more thing I want to mention is building it in this way with having Carrot as your 5-drop, or having Carrot as a 5-drop, I should say, and X-Drake, by the way. That allows you to play very differently, right? So now your odd curve is not even bad. Because, okay, turn 1 is nothing. I'm not going to lie. Maybe that's... We definitely have room for improvement in the list. But going like 1 into 3 Brook into 5 Carrot or X-Drake, that is a very solid, you know, setup there. And then every turn that Carrot survives with your leader, you're just tapping their cards down and just swinging. And just keeping them locked down. You could go for face, or you could start taking out their characters, however you want to do it. So there's a lot of potential there. What else? Everything else is pretty much self-explanatory from there. If you have any comments or questions, guys, please put them in the comment section below. All right, next up, let's look at Reiju. This is an absolutely standard list. Let me just try to find it through all these hundreds of... I think I've got like 200 decks at this point, guys. Hang on. Like, notice this one, guys. This one's not Reiju. So we're looking for Reiju, but this is not Reiju. For those who might be wondering, this is my... This is a version of Reiju I've been working on. We will explore this more in the future. Very fun version of the deck, I have to say, guys. I have to say. We'll check this out more in the future. Okay, but let's find Reiju real quick. Okay, Reiju. Here it is. There it is. So this is just an absolutely standard version of the list. I only run the 1 judge, but you can change judge. You can go up to 2 judges. You can also go, what's his name? Is it Niji? No, Niji's the purple one. Yanji. Yeah, I need the green one, Yanji. This guy. You can go up. You can go these in your list if you want to, but you do have to move some numbers around. I would say I don't think you can move this number around at all. The German Kingdom stage is literally what makes this deck run. But I think excuse me, I think what some people will do is like maybe go down some 2K counters, but I'm only running 10. I'm only running 10 2K counters. I would not mess with the Reiju count. I would not mess with the Akiji count. I've already gone down to 2 of the Niji count. But Yanji, I have seen people run like 2 of these, like 2 and 2. So maybe they don't run any of the puddings, and maybe they go down to like 2 or 3 Germa 66 event searchers. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not 100% caught up on what Reijus are doing right now. But just understand, this is how the list runs. You want turn 1 Kingdom or turn 1 Germa 66 to search for the Germa Kingdom. This is your very beginning of the game. Pause this card and read what it does. It is that important. It is how the entire deck functions. Because this card will allow you to trash your Ikijis. Ikiji can come out of the trash for 4 Dawn with a card like the 4-cost Ikiji. But it's even worse than that, or it's even better than that, I guess you could say, because now you can cheat it out for 3 Dawn with something like Porsche. And going down in Dawn like that early was actually, it's actually not the worst thing in the world. Yes, it is a slight disadvantage for sure. I'm not saying it's an advantage at all, but now we have ways to offset that Dawn loss with cards like this new Chopper. I think this new Chopper, pause and read this, guys. I think it's incredible. And then there's a whole entire miniature engine with Porsche, Tony Chopper, and Gina. 2K counter searchable, blocker searchable that also helps you out with your Dawn, and then Porsche. Another, you know, this card right here is a searcher, and it cheats out a card. So you're board flooding like crazy. You're returning Dawn like crazy to draw cards with your leader effect. It's kind of really nice, guys. The deck feels very good to pilot, but it is kind of complicated. It's a little bit technical. Some people are not running Judge. Some people are not running Yanji. Some people are. There is a small amount of room, like wiggle room for deck builder space, like to build it however you want to and for your area. But generally speaking, these Yanjis are not bad. And one more card I want to mention, because I forgot to mention it, and I have seen this in quite a few lists, is Queen. Where's purple? There we go. This is just an incredible card, guys. Queen's just a good card. There's no way around it. And some people are running this card. Because, guys, in this list, this is a draw 3, trash 1. Like, that's what this, with the leader effect, drawing a card when you return a Dawn, and the Queen effect as is, it is establish a 5-cost 6K, draw 3, trash 1. Just absolutely insane. Just absolutely, it's so good. Okay. All right, now let's move on to the last list. We got Red, Yellow, Sabo. Now, like I already kind of hinted at, tomorrow's video will be Red, Yellow, Sabo. Look at all these Red, Yellow, Sabo lists, guys. Oh, gosh. I don't even know what were we looking for? Oh, the Revo Army one. Hang on one second. It is right. It is this one. Yeah, okay. Let me move the leader so we can get it all on one page. Or on 2 lines. This is what I've been messing around with Red, Yellow, Sabo lately as far as the Revo Army version goes. Like I mentioned, I think I mentioned this earlier in the video, I have been messing around with the Goa Kingdom version. Like, let me just type in Goa to explain. I'm talking about these guys. Like, not this one, by the way, but like the Ace, the Luffy, and the 3 Brothers Bond, and of course Garp. Like, Garp does the search as well for them. Like, I've been kind of messing around with that, you know, the Goa package. But other than that, guys, this has been very strong. The Revo Army stuff, and like I said in tomorrow's video, we will be talking about some spoilers. Red, Yellow, Sabo is really starting to trend in the Revo Army direction. Some people think it all, you know, a lot of people say, well, yeah, I always thought it was. It's like, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I'm just going to tell you now, like, after seeing what's coming out, and a lot of people are thinking, like, oh, but Bello Betty. I might do a Bello Betty video in the future. Not because I want to. Okay, if I'm going to play a Red, Yellow, Revo Army deck, it is going to be Sabo. That's just me personally. I have nothing against Bello Betty. It's just I don't like the, you know, just, oh, I'm just going to trash cards from hand to go plus 3,000. I like for there to be a little bit of nuance in there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that there's no skill required in Bello Betty. Don't read anything into that that's not there. I'm just saying I don't really like the way that deck plays out. Whereas with Red, Yellow, Sabo, I'm gaining life like crazy. I'm attacking into the board. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And it just seems like Bello Betty's more like of a face attack deck. And this deck can be as well. You know, Red, Yellow, Sabo can be played in that way as well. But I feel like there's just a little bit more intricacies with Red, Yellow, Sabo. But yeah. Well, that's about it. That's about it, guys. That's about it for the actual deck portion. Let's go ahead and hop over to the art critique of the video. We've got Tashigi. Okay. This card's art is absolutely incredible. incredible. Okay, we've got a lot to talk about. Where's my marker tool? We're going to go with the green so we can see it. Can we see it? Yeah, we can see it just fine. Okay, so first things first, everyone's going to... I almost always start these off with like a triangle, right? So of course we do at least have to start off with the triangle here. Okay, really grounding this piece right here. Let me get the bright green out again. Okay, and I'll make it 3D so we can come back to it later. First of all, there's just this triangle, and it's offset ever so slightly, which makes the piece even more interesting. And why is it offset? Look at what's over here, guys. Over here, I'm going to remove this green line over here, but look what's over here when I remove this. There's a sword over here, right? There's a sword sticking into the ground over here. In the background, we have all this smoke going on. Got a ton of smoke here, some smoke going around behind her. And one thing they did very beautifully, especially right here, going into the smoke around her in the back here, it's almost like wings. Do y'all see that? Or horns or something maybe? That's another possibility. And that adds so much to the piece. And the way that the sword is pushing into the foreground, I have to say one thing. Sorry, guys, my throat's drying out. Sorry if my voice is starting to crack. Like I said, I've been yelling at middle schoolers all day. I'm really struggling. No excuses, though. No excuses. All right, check this out, guys. One complaint I have about Bandai here. This sword, let me remove this triangle for a second. Notice this sword right here. Why does it not break the border? Why does the sword not... Whoops, I just almost lost my screen there. Why does this sword not break the border? Okay, Bandai, I need y'all to email me immediately with a justification. No, I'm just kidding. But look at this, guys. It would have looked so nice. And notice how they do that. For people who are saying, like, oh, they don't do that. It's like, no, they clearly do. Right? It's right here in the same piece. But one thing they really missed out on that could have been so incredible is making this sword that's pushing into the foreground bust through the border of the image. Now, who knows? Maybe they didn't want it to cut, you know, because if they had done this, it would have probably just barely touched the color hexagon, and maybe they didn't want to do that for, like, readability sake and for, like, rules sake and things like that. But still, that would have been so nice. It would have looked so clean if they had done that. Because, again, okay, Tashigi here, she is the piece in the very middle, right? They did make this hand a little bit larger than I think it needed to be. Not trying to be overly critical, just kind of pointing to certain things. But this hand is like perfect because it's pushing forward, whereas this one should have been further back, so it should have been a little bit smaller. Not a big deal though. I'm just saying, with it, okay, with her body being the middle. Whoops, I can't. There we go. With her body being in the middle ground, like front and center, but like in the middle and recessed back. It's not the foreground. It's not the background. It's the middle ground. Her sword with her sword arm is pushing into our plane. And that should have broke the border, right? That should have just broke the border like this card right here did. And like this card, or not card, like this sword right here did. And like this sword right here did. And the smoke over here. Like they did it in a few select places. I just really wish they had followed through with it and done it with this sword. Because this is what's really pushing into the foreground is her sword. So really cool stuff there. I love the explosion going on in the background, guys. And of course, it silhouettes I can't even talk right now. It silhouettes her frame beautifully, right? Just absolutely incredible. Pristine, outstanding art. I love the colors in this one. It's working on a very soft blue, purple, and pink palette. It's got a few things that offset it here with like the yellows and the oranges, the white for the fur coat up here. This looks really nice up here with the fur coat. And then, of course, her hair is black, and that kind of complements the dark blue of like the navy suit she's wearing, whatever you want to call that. And then, like I said, the background being like a very bright white explosion back there, it really helps silhouette her actual model. So awesome. Looks really good. Big fan. I'm done, guys. I'm done rambling. I need to get some rest is what it comes down to be honest. Let me go ahead and end this off with a big shout out to everybody who supports this channel. Thank you so much, guys. If you are liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, viewing my channel, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And, of course, if you bought the playmat, I hope you're enjoying the playmat. Thank you guys so much for helping me out in that way. And then, of course, the patrons here, the VV Pirates patron page. Thank you guys so much for everybody who's donated to the channel just to help out. All right, I'm done. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put them down in the comment section below. Tomorrow's video, we're going to be getting into Red Yellow Sabo again. That's right, we got to do our weekly Red Yellow Sabo video. We got some things to talk about. Okay, we got some spoilers to look at, so something to look forward to tomorrow. And I will say this, tomorrow's video will probably be around the same time. And I know that really frustrates a lot of people, but I can't help that, guys. Whenever I'm teaching at a middle school or whenever I'm subbing at a middle school, I can't help that. You know what I mean? That's just, the school gets out at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't even get home because I'll go straight home and eat. I don't even get started on my video until like 6 or 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So it is what it is. Tomorrow I will be at another middle school. So it's going to be, the video will be out around the same exact time. All right, guys, that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed. Again, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.